What's happening, good people? We got another guitar from Firefly. So depending on how this one goes today, this video might come out first. This was the guitar that I was expecting to come out, and I wanted to get it out because there's currently now only 8 of these models left, and it looks pretty good. The other video will explain the whole story background, but quickly, I had a video recently where I said I was kind of done with Firefly, and it didn't get too much traction in the beginning, and then it got posted to a Facebook group. There was some spirited conversation back and forth, but all in all, it really wasn't all that bad. I know a lot of times you see people that do videos on these things and they say it gets kind of ruthless in there, and there was some opinions, but we'll discuss that more in the other video, and depending on that won't be coming out after this one, or if not, go check it out. But hey, let's see what it's like. Open this thing up. So the first one, the Explorer we had, was kind of nice. It was like top lifted, so it was very good for revealing on YouTube purposes. They come packaged pretty well, and why I was expecting this one first was I ordered 2 at the same time, and I think the shipping labels came mixed up because it said that this one was delivered, and I was really looking to get the video out because I fear bought this one, and not the fact that I was, I bought this and settled for it. I actually wanted a V. Spoiler, it's a V. Looking to solve the itch that I've had for a flying V, and we got a solar V style that unfortunately came damaged. So right now that's going through the UPS claims department, but hopefully we'll have that back soon. Also, we got an S by Solar, which that video will come out after this, and but the volume that they do when the drops come in, I can't blame them for having maybe crossed up the shipping labels on it. I should have known looking at the models. I just never actually looked at the box. I just went on what came via the UPS tracking, but obviously this has the model number of the V that we're looking at today. And this one is pretty much par on course with how the Explorer was packaged. I think the boxing at least was a lot better with the Explorer. It was a lot easier to unbox, but so you have this nice layer of protectant on top, and I don't know, I said in the previous video, I don't know why Fender doesn't do this. The only thing I could possibly think of is because of there's a lot of styrofoam going on here, and the economics of it and all, but it seems like it protects their guitars so much better. There she is. You got your giggle stick, Allen wrench, and the cheap little cord that comes with it. This guitar is very airy and light too, so. We have done a Leo Jaymz Swifter, and that one didn't really pan out all that well. Definitely smell the fresh paint on these things. Maybe that's why Fender doesn't pack it that way. It gets a little cruddy, but there was no protectant on the toggle switch here. Not so much of a big deal. And the bridge looks actually really nice. Isn't bestest in the world. Little sticker right there, not a big deal. Very light. So I'll try to get it in close-ups and pictures. Overall, for the price that you pay, I wouldn't, knock this thing really tremendously. But if you're looking for something that, looks like aesthetically like spot on, the edging on this isn't the best in the world. So that's just something for you to expect. It's not a deal breaker for me, but there's some spots over here where it kind of goes around the apex or vertex, whatever it would be here, and it kind of just runs a little bit into the curve, the edging isn't like perfectly pinstriping, but again, for the price, sorry, we're under a tornado warning right now, so just making sure that wasn't a tornado going by. There's definitely not going to be any tornado riffs on this thing. But just some residue. I mean, like minor, very minor things. Nothing to pick apart. And that's never been an issue with me in Firefly. One of the grub screws here looks like it may have stripped because it's poking up. The rest of them are completely flat. That one is able to spin it by hand, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, they're all kind of angled high. I only bring up some of those things here because you'd be amazed at some of the things that, speaking with small manufacturers, what people actually will return products for, like a scratch on the back over here possibly. Like, you're never going to see that, or a little bit of a swirl mark somewhere. And for the price for what you get out of these budget guitars, I mean, to expect like luthier type craftsmanship is kind of unreasonable. But yeah, I'm gonna actually do things kind of in reverse first and play it, and then we're gonna get on the bench and actually go through all the paces. So one of the major criticisms I had right off the bat with the Leo Jaymz Swifter was the position of the jack plate, which is in the horn over here. And this is still kind of isn't an issue too, but at least it has the Strat style right here, so it angles it a little bit, whereas the Swifter was straight out, so it was kind of really annoying. So I can get a little bit more comfort in the playing here, and I think ultimately, actually, when putting the a strap on to pull up the neck a little bit, it won't be so bad. But if I had a footstool, would even be better, even though I would most likely rather have it on the right side here. But so controls are volume, tone. The bottom volumes are for the bridge pickup or humbucker, and the top ones over here are for the actual neck. And then you have your toggle switch over here, which is kind of cool in a way. And towards you is going to be the neck. Obviously in the middle would be both, and then towards the audience would be your bridge pickup. So I'm just going to run through it real quick, and then these are the stock strings and everything on it. So check the intonation while we're here. I'd like to do that on the bench too. I mean, nearly spot on, and that seems like that's always the case with Firefly. The attention to detail out of the factory is really, really unbelievable. So I'm just gonna give you some tones through it real quick. all in all, with the knob control, the volumes don't. It doesn't seem like there's too much of a wide range. The tone actually, both seem like you get a lot more of a variation with turning the knobs. They're super smooth. The previous one we had, they were a little scratchy, but the only thing is that they're kind of mushed in here a little bit too much for me. I don't know. I actually never really paid attention before, and it's sometimes you don't think of these things until you actually have it in front of you. If there's really that less of a of a V out there on the other models, and that there's not that much space, because they really couldn't do too much more when you think about it. They don't have that much space to work with here. So it almost would be better if it was either a one tone and two volumes, or one volume and two tones, but just to maybe move them out a little bit. But again, not nowhere near a deal breaker. But and I know that's what you're not looking for when you expect a guitar like this. You're not looking for a clean, so let's kick it in. All right, so no, I know it's not fair too. The strings aren't stretched out. I would replace them anyway, but might as well just check out and see what the trem arm does to this. See how it is. Hopefully it doesn't snap or break. Couple of turns came right in. Couple of turns, it went right in. It actually has some thread still poking up. I don't know if they're, didn't check to see if there's a spring in there. I doubt it, because there was nothing covering it up. But yeah, just mash on it for a little bit. I mean, all in all, with the, what you would expect, and it actually really wasn't all that bad. Sometimes they're completely out of tune after it, but yeah, let's get this on the bench. We're gonna do a complete 3 rooms deep dive on this thing, and yeah, totally look at the specs. But right now, I would say, if there's still some left, buy it, and then watch the rest of this video. And if you don't like the specs, then just return it before before the transaction really goes through. Do a quick little test of grounding. All right, everything seems like it's very well grounded. The just the plating on the actual bridge and the output jack are blocking, the signal. But when you touch the screws, everything is going. So this fretboard looks in much better condition as far as being not as thirsty as our previous one. We're gonna go over all the specs with the strings on first, see how it is. Now, don't mind the rainstorm. It's a little backbowed, just a tiny bit. Nothing too crazy. That might have been causing a little bit of the issue with the slight fret buzz. Also, it could just be set up really, really low. And my pick attack might have just been a little too crazy for it. So let's check out. Yeah, the low E is actually somewhere in between 1.25 and 150. So that's actually pretty low for the low E, but some people like low action like that. And then the high E, we're looking at 1.25. Those are all in millimeters. Oh, not that bad. Go to the pickup height real quick, since that's really easy to do. We're looking. That one was close. So the the neck is looking at 4.0 on the low E on the neck, and then looking at 3.20 on the bridge, and on the high E, yeah, roughly the same, about 4, and then actually right in between 4 and 3.20. So next, we're going to check the nut slots real quick. So everything is in millimeters, and we'll do the conversion into inches on the screen for you. So look at that, 0.72 millimeters. Looking at 0.55 millimeters on the A. I'm gonna 0.53 on the D. .60 on the G. .57 on the B, and then 0.55 on the high E. All right, as far as the strings, they look pretty well centered. There's enough room on either side. They're not falling off with any type of wiggle whatsoever. So check real quick for any deadening. All right, no real dead frets. Didn't hear anything when checking now. Before I was tuning up, I mentioned the tuners. They were like butter, which is definitely something that seems like they've improved, because I've heard issues from time to time of Fireflies having some sort of issues with their tuners. Occasionally here or there, but so far everyone I've ever had has been perfect. All right, so we're gonna just give it a real tune up real quick before we take the strings off. Yeah, that wasn't all that bad for just going through all those bends. Okay, all needing a slight adjustment, but not really anything that's gonna be something that is gonna annoy a new player or something that you might not even notice right off the bat. But I don't really get too crazy with that during this part, because I'd be throwing my own set of strings on there anyway, my own gauge, and who knows what I might eventually wind up doing to this thing, but definitely a keeper. All right, well, that's something that's a little bit annoying, is they have to take the back plate off to replace the strings all the time. I tend to actually leave my back plates off anyway. So now we'll just take a couple of measurements. Do the nut first. The nut is 42.99 millimeters, or 1.693 inches. The width of the first fret is 42.87 millimeters, or 1.688 inches. At the 12th fret, we are 53.53 millimeters, or 21.08 inches. Thickness, 22.12 millimeters, or 0.871 inches. And at the 12th fret, 23.28 millimeters, or 0.917 inches. Fret wire we try to get as best as we can is 2.73 millimeters, or 0.107 inches. The height is 1.20 millimeters, or 0.047 inches. We'll do some pickup reading too. We still let that neck kind of adjust. Gonna pull it off a little bit because of the pointy headstock back. It's all right, and the way it lays is just fine. Doesn't hit the table at all. We got resistance of the neck is 8.04. In the middle, 5.25. And in the bridge, 15.08. Moving on to the Henrys, the inductance. The bridge is 5.36 and the neck is 3.44. Okay, the capacitance of the neck is 2.71 picofarads and the bridge is 1.35 picofarads. Take a look at this neck now. All right, so I'm just gonna adjust it a little bit. Just a little compound in there from the buffing, but nothing paint. Like they're seen on some of the posts that there was some paint in there. I like to give them a little bit of a taparoo too after, and then recheck them just to see if anything changes. All in all, it seems like, tapping them in actually solved a lot of the issues. Maybe made a little pop in up a little different spots, but all in all, there's a lot less, it seems like, uneven frets there. Nothing that you would not expect from something, especially this affordable. There's other guitars out there that are a lot more expensive that have a lot more going on with it. So one thing I forgot to do with the last one was take a look at the pickups, the humbuckers. These ones seem they're seated nice. I forgot to get it in the video, but the Les Paul, the chrome ones, they were wobbling back and forth a bit. can see some right over here too. The routing is so close to the top of the pickup ring that you could actually see. Nothing, again, not a deal breaker, but again, some of these people out there that return these things for such minuscule little things. And then there's some that actually accept so much wrong with these things. But I guess also too, that's the difference between someone that's really going to play it and someone that's looking for a showpiece. Marked with a B, probably meaning for the bridge. And then marked with an N for a neck. I'm sure this is not shielded like the other one. Again, it is some sort of painted, but that was me touching the other lead. All right. Just forgot to check the tuners over here, just to make sure that they're all nice and tight. All good. No real play in the posts, which is a good thing. All right. Take a look at the back side over here. The trim block, very thin. Again, I'm sure this is not shielded at all. I mean, I could even just kind of like etch my name in it, so. And I know someone's gonna complain that I'm rusting on the knobs over here, but being very gentle with it, so. Again, I'd be leaving the trim plate cover off anyway, but for those of you that would keep it on, that this might possibly bother you. The plates are a little different. This is like a textured, and this is a smooth plastic. Paper caps in here, can't identify what they are. Look like full-size pots. All the grounding is good. Typical jack. Not much wire to pull out, so I really can't show you too well. Don't know how much there's going to be a wiring here for the switch. Decent looking switch. Let's see if we can get that shot for you. Forgot to get the radius on this. I'm going with a 12-inch radius on this because seems like it's the one with the least amount of daylight anywhere. When I go to 10, get it in the right spot, I could see light in the middle. And then if I go up to 14, I have some rocking and I could see light on either sides. And there's no rocking with 12. in several spots. So I'm going with 12. That's pretty much it. That's all she wrote. I do apologize for all the rumblings during the filming of this. It was a little dicey there for a moment with that tornado warning, but hopefully I was able to edit any of those out that might have been of an annoying. Yeah, I mean, all in all, it's definitely a decent guitar. It has, you know, its minor imperfections that could definitely be overlooked by most people, especially for the quality that you're getting and at the price. It does kind of stink to have to deal with the whole drop issue and the limited availability. I know they even kind of wish they could do better in that arena, but let me know what you thought about this. If you're gonna pick one up, you're gonna have to pay attention to the website, because hopefully this gets out before they're all sold out, but right now there's only 8. You've all been a fantastic audience, and as always, stay tuned.